White House of Lehigh University in the U.S. Now, while the diplomatic maneuvers play out in Mali, civil society organizations across the Sahel say the crisis is getting worse because ordinary civilians in the region bear the brunt of the violence between jihadi groups and government forces. So they've come together to form a People's Coalition for the Sahel. Niagalé Bagayoko is chairperson of the African Security Sector Network, and she explained why such a body is necessary.
We definitely think that there is a need to refocus the intervention on the protection of civilians.
And how will that work? I believe that your approach is based on something called the People's Pillars.
Yes, indeed. There are 4 pillars. The first one is to focus on human security and protection of civilians. The second one is about putting the stress much more on more global and political approach of the situation currently at stake in the Sahel. The third pillar is to focus much more on humanitarian assistance. And the fourth one is about focusing much more on fighting impunity.
These seem to be fairly straightforward, but there are also age-old principles of war, of protecting civilians, of making sure that, people are taken out of harm's way. They don't quite prevail in so many different wars around the world. Who are you holding accountable should this not be implemented? Because it's not being implemented as we speak.
Absolutely. The approach of this coalition for the Sahel is seen as a complement to all the international efforts which are presently being put forward by a number of international, national actors. We definitely think that there is a need to add a new dimension, which is the perspective first of civil society organizations and second of organizations which are working on the ground and which are very well connected to the local populations and to the communities themselves. So we think that we do have an expertise which could be very useful for international partners, for also the governments which are part of the G5 Sahel and which are conducting policies presently. So we really do want to develop a very constructive dialogue with all those stakeholders, but also to monitor all the efforts they are putting.
But how are you going to compel them to listen to you? The governments are waging war. The non-state actors are waging war. As you say, the civilians are the ones that suffer the most. Everybody's aware of that. Your coalition is essentially an informal group of people. So how effective can you be in holding all those powerful players to account or even getting them to listen to you?
No, nobody could make someone compulsory to listen to us. It's not possible. But we definitely think that the kind of situations, for instance, that we can see today in Mali with the popular protests now, which are adding a new dimension to the very insurrectional situation in the Sahel. We have witnesses in the Sahel since 2012.
What do you think of President Goodluck Jonathan, the former leader of Nigeria, who is in Mali at the moment, to try and broker conversation for ECOWAS, between the president and the opposition voices that are calling on him?
I think the position today are very polarized. So it's difficult to say, but what is very important, I think, that West African and more broadly Africans within the African Union to take also the lead to try to bring also African solutions to the current conflict, because international partners cannot be only the main actors to be involved in the management of the crisis. So I think it is a good thing, but I don't know what are the change for this mediation to have very concrete results.
Chairperson of the African Security Sector Network, Niagalé Bagayoko. Coming up, arguing with COVID-19 conspiracy theories and theorists in our weekly letter, which comes from Kenya. This is Focus on Africa on the BBC World Service. I'm Audrey Brown, and it's coming up for 17:16 Greenwich Mean Time. And now